By late 1814, the War of 1812 was reaching its conclusion. After nearly 3 years of conflict, both the United States and Britain were ready to explore peace. The war, which had begun over issues like British impressment of American sailors and trade restrictions, had evolved into a struggle for survival and sovereignty for the young American Republic. Britain, fresh off its victory over Napoleon in Europe, had redirected significant resources to the conflict in North America. However, the prolonged war was draining, and neither side was achieving decisive victories. For the United States, the war had become a test of resilience and national unity, while for Britain, it was increasingly seen as a costly distraction from more pressing global priorities. Against this backdrop, negotiations began in Ghent, Belgium, paving the way for a treaty that would end the war. While these talks unfolded, an unexpected and dramatic battle at New Orleans would shape how the conflict was remembered in American history. The Treaty of Ghent and the Battle of New Orleans together encapsulate the end of the war and its legacy. These events would not only bring the fighting to a close, but also reinforce the United States' status as a resilient and growing power on the world stage. By mid-1814, both the United States and Britain were eager to end the war. The conflict had proven costly for both sides, while neither achieving initial objectives. For the United States, the war had strained its economy, disrupted trade, and exposed weaknesses in its military. Britain, meanwhile, was emerging from decades of war with Napoleon and was increasingly focused on rebuilding its economy and maintaining stability in Europe. Peace talks between the two nations began in Ghent, Belgium, in August 1814. The choice of the location was strategic, as Belgium was considered neutral territory. The negotiations brought together experienced diplomats from both sides. Leading the Americans' delegation was John Quincy Adams, Henry Clay, Albert Gallatin, James Bayard, and Jonathan Russell. Each brought unique expertise, with Adams serving as the primary negotiator due to his deep understanding of European diplomacy. Britain's negotiators, led by Lord Gambier, Henry Goldberg, and William Adams, initially approached the task with significant demands. They sought to establish a Native American buffer state in the Northwest Territory, secure territorial concessions from the United States, and gain control over strategic waterways. These demands reflected Britain's confidence following its victory over Napoleon. However, as negotiations progressed, Britain's demand softened. The American delegation, though faced with a weaker military position, stood firm against territorial losses and rejected the idea of a Native American buffer state. The British negotiators, aware of their nation's war fatigue and growing public opposition to the prolonged conflict, eventually dropped their more aggressive proposals. The Treaty of Ghent was finalized on December 24, 1814. Its terms reflected a desire to restore the pre-war status quo rather than to redraw borders or address unresolved issues. The treaty called for the cessation of hostilities, the return of captured territory, and the restoration of pre-war boundaries. It also established commissions to resolve future disputes over the US-Canadian border. Notably, the treaty avoided contentious topics like British impressment of American sailors and trade restrictions, which had initially sparked the war. These issues had become less relevant by the end of the conflict, as Britain had relaxed its maritime policies following Napoleon's defeat. The Treaty of Ghent was a pragmatic agreement that prioritized peace over territorial gains or ideological victories. It was less about resolving past grievances and more about ending a costly and inconclusive war. For the United States, the treaty represented a diplomatic success. Despite its military setbacks, the nation had avoided territorial loss and preserved its sovereignty. For Britain, the treaty allowed it to focus on rebuilding after the Napoleonic Wars and maintaining stability in its global empire. The treaty's terms were ratified by both nations in early 1815. However, due to the slow pace of transatlantic communication, news of the treaty did not reach the United States until weeks after its signing. This delay would set the stage for one of the most famous battles of the war, fought after peace had already been agreed upon. The negotiations at Ghent showcased the importance of diplomacy in resolving conflicts. While the treaty did not address all the issues that had caused the war, it successfully ended hostilities and restored peace between the two nations. It also laid the groundwork for a more cooperative relationship in the years that followed. While the Treaty of Ghent had been signed on December 24, 1814, the slow pace of transatlantic communication meant that the news of peace agreement had not reached the United States or British forces in the Gulf of Mexico. This miscommunication set the stage for the Battle of New Orleans, one of the most dramatic and consequential engagements of the War of 1812. In late 1814, British forces led by General Edward Pakenham launched a campaign to capture New Orleans, a vital port city controlling access to the Mississippi River. The British aimed to sever American control over the region and gain leverage in post-war negotiations, unaware that peace terms had already been finalized. The defense of New Orleans was entrusted to General Andrew Jackson, a seasoned and determined leader who had earned a reputation for his victories in the Creek War. Jackson arrived in New Orleans on December 1814 and immediately set to work organizing a diverse force to repel the British. Jackson's army was a patchwork of regular soldiers, militia from surrounding states, free African Americans, Native American allies, and even local pirates led by the infamous Jean Lafitte. Despite the unconventional makeup of his force, Jackson's leadership and preparation transformed them into a formidable defensive force. The British arrived on the outskirts of New Orleans in early January 1815, setting the stage for the climactic battle. On January 8, 1815, Pakenham launched a direct assault on Jackson's heavily fortified positions along the Rodriguez Canal. Jackson's defensive strategy relied on well-prepared fortifications and the use of artillery. The American forces had constructed earthworks and fortified positions that proved a strong defensive advantage. Artillery placements were positioned to maximize damage against advancing British troops. The British plan called for a frontal assault to break through the American lines. However, the attack quickly unraveled. Poor coordination among British forces combined with the strength of American defenses resulted in devastating casualties for the British Army. General Pakenham himself was killed in the fighting, and British troops suffered over 2,000 casualties. General Pakenham himself was killed in the fighting, and British troops suffered over 2,000 casualties compared to fewer than 100 for the Americans. The lopsided nature of the battle made it one of the most resounding American victories of the entire war. The victory at New Orleans had an immediate and profound impact on American morale. Though it occurred after the treaty was signed, the battle was widely seen as a validation of the United States' resilience and military capability. For Andrew Jackson, the victory at New Orleans elevated him to a national hero status. His leadership during the battle became a cornerstone of his political career, eventually propelling him into the presidency. Jackson's image as a defender of the Republic, made a champion of the common man, was solidified in the aftermath of the battle. The British failure at New Orleans underscored the challenges of conducting an amphibious assault against a well-defended position. It also marked the end of British ambitions in the Gulf of Mexico, effectively securing American control of the region. While the battle had no direct impact on the treaty's terms, its timing created the impression that the war had ended with a decisive American victory. This perception shaped public memory of the conflict, overshadowing earlier defeats and bolstering national pride. The Battle of New Orleans became a defining moment in the War of 1812. It demonstrated the effectiveness of strong leadership and preparation, as well as the importance of defending key strategic locations. For the young United States, the battle was more than just a military triumph. It was a symbolic victory that reinforced its identity as a resilient and independent nation capable of standing up to global powers. The War of 1812 concluded with the Treaty of Ghent, but its effects rippled far beyond the cessation of hostilities. For the United States, Britain, and Native American tribes, the conflict left lasting consequences that reshaped relationships and altered the course of history. One of the most significant outcomes was the improvement in U.S.-British relations. Although the war began as a bitter confrontation over maritime rights and sovereignty, its conclusion marked the start of a more peaceful era. The Treaty of Ghent restored pre-war boundaries and resolved territorial disputes, but it also signaled a mutual understanding between the two nations. In the years following the war, both countries shifted their focus to internal development and avoided further armed conflict. This period, often referred to as the Era of Good Feelings, saw a reduction in tensions and increased cooperation. The Rush-Bagot Agreement of 1817, which demilitarized the Great Lakes, was a direct result of the newfound peace. The war's impact on the Native American tribes was devastating. Native communities had aligned with the British in hopes of halting American expansion, but the Treaty of Ghent offered them no protections. With Britain withdrawing support, tribes in the Northwest and South faced a resurgent United States determined to expand its territory. The defeat of Tecumseh's Confederation in the Northwest and Andrew Jackson's victory at Horseshoe Bend in the South left Native resistance fragmented and weakened. Over the following decades, U.S. expansion into these regions accelerated, often through forced treaties and military campaigns that further displaced native populations. The war also solidified American control over key territories. While the Treaty of Ghent restored pre-war boundaries, the United States emerged with greater confidence in its ability to secure its western frontiers and defend its sovereignty. This confidence fueled the push for expansion, eventually leading to manifest destiny in the 19th century. Domestically, the war highlighted significant weaknesses in the U.S. military and infrastructure. The burning of Washington exposed the need for stronger defenses, while naval successes underscored the importance of a robust navy. In response, the United States invested in fortifications, a standing army, and an expanded navy, laying the groundwork for future conflicts. Ultimately, the War of 1812 was a turning point for the United States. While it ended a stalemate diplomatically, its consequences strengthened the nation internally, redefined its open relationships externally, and set the stage for continued growth as a regional and global power.